now. Oh my God!
When it comes to the internet, I don't give a f about your opinion.
Drew McIntyre is on a quest to dismantle the Bloodline. He has tried to warn everybody forever about Roman Reigns, his family, CM Punk, and everyone involved. And now this new story element for Drew McIntyre is really gonna get interesting for 2025. We saw Sami Zayn get taken out by Drew at Saturday night's main event.
Claymore by McIntyre by Drew.
And Drew walked through the curtain and said this.
One down, 4 to go.
Now let's put a pin in that for just a second. Let's look back at Drew's history with the Bloodline. For example, his champion versus champion match at Survivor Series against Roman Reigns, where he lost due to the interference of Jey Uso. The Bloodline was just beginning to form. Drew McIntyre was a clear babyface, but even all the way back then, he couldn't shake the Bloodline. You fast forward to Clash at the Castle, an amazing match. And Roman Reigns' Bloodline was evolving and was getting bigger and bigger. Drew McIntyre had that match won. The Claymore to Roman Reigns. The end was in sight. Drew was going to win the championship, and if you recall that period, Drew was on fire, and he really seemed like he could actually beat Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle. It didn't come true. Solo Sikoa interfered, and Drew McIntyre's championship opportunities were foiled once again. And as we move forward in Drew's whole story, you can look at WrestleMania 40, getting screwed out of the World Heavyweight Championship, dealing with CM Punk, getting that title for just a moment, only for it to be taken away. And at that point, we were getting heel Drew McIntyre, and you could see and hear and feel that Drew was justified in what he was doing. And as we all know, at WrestleMania 40, Cody went on to finish his story with the help of a lot of different people, finally taking down the Bloodline. The Roman Empire was no more. Cody was declared the man, and you had everybody supporting him, from Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, all out in the ring to celebrate with Cody Rhodes. And as we move past WrestleMania, obviously the feud between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was one of the biggest feuds of 2024. But Drew still could not get the job done, only getting one victory over CM Punk, losing the strap match, and then losing once again at Hell in a Cell, closing that chapter, at least for now, with CM Punk. And then nothing. No Drew McIntyre for quite some time, and for a lot of people, forgotten about, only for him to return on Raw, Claymore to Sami Zayn, and we are now seeing a darker, more gritty, more motivated Drew McIntyre, who doesn't care about anything, who is tired of trying to do the right thing, and is looking for revenge against all of the original Bloodline. We know that leading up to Saturday night's main event, Jey Uso got taken out backstage, and we haven't seen Jey in several weeks. Jimmy, with his broken toe, got Claymored on SmackDown. And at Saturday night's main event, as we saw, Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn clean in the ring, 1, 2, 3. And as he goes backstage, he says, 1 down, 4 to go. Question is, and I started to wonder, who are the 4? Who's the 1? Because he took down Sami. At some point, he'll want to take down Jimmy. We know that there's going to be a match and probably a pretty big program with Jey Uso. That's 3. So Jimmy, Jey, we know that he's going to be coming for Roman Reigns at some point. But who's the 4th? Is it CM Punk once again because CM Punk teamed up with the Bloodline at Survivor Series? It could be, and it could be a very logical reason for Drew wanting to get back at Punk once again. But because we just came off of this entire story arc with Punk and Drew, it has me start thinking about, what if Cody Rhodes is on the list for Drew McIntyre? The way the story is shaping up for Drew McIntyre, he is going after every single member of the Bloodline, everyone that has helped Roman Reigns. And as we saw on Monday Night Raw, when Seth and Drew were backstage, Seth talked about how he got Roman out of power at WrestleMania 40. Sami and Jey are his friends, but the jury's still out on Drew McIntyre and where he lies. And as Seth is going off to have this giant program with CM Punk leading into WrestleMania, but where does Drew's story go from here? One logical step is going to be the return of Jey Uso and getting a program between Drew and Jey, maybe culminating at WrestleMania 41. When Jimmy is ready to return, you gotta figure that there's going to be a match and a program built in there between Drew and Jimmy. Jimmy wanting to get his revenge on Drew for claymoring him with one bad toe. And we can kind of assume that the final page of all of this for Drew would be getting that one-on-one shot, that one-on-one match against Roman Reigns. What's interesting with the match against Roman is how the roles would be seemingly reversed. Drew isn't necessarily wrong in all of this in his thinking. It's very logical of how Drew is so frustrated with everybody. All of them going back to Roman Reigns and getting that power once again. And Roman Reigns on TV now is getting cheered, and the fans are allowed to cheer for him now as the tribal chief. But they can almost do it all over again, but now Drew being the bad guy and Roman Reigns being the face. And that could allow Drew McIntyre to finally get a pinfall victory over Roman Reigns. Maybe, maybe not. It's tribal chief, you never know. But another question mark would be what I mentioned earlier. Cody Rhodes. Out of those 4 that are left to go for Drew McIntyre, is it Cody? Because just like Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre has a lot of reasons to believe that Cody Rhodes is also part of the problem. Everyone else on the roster helped Cody, like Kevin Owens has said, to finish his story at WrestleMania 40, to finish the Bloodline, to end Roman's reign as champion. And after everyone came to his help and aided Cody throughout that entire time, he turns around at Bad Blood and he tag teams with Roman Reigns. A match between Cody and Drew McIntyre would make a lot of sense. Drew going after everyone that is in favor, that is on the side of the original Bloodline. Drew doesn't care anymore. He wants to just take revenge and take out everyone. Now for fantasy booking here for a second, it's hard to believe that Drew McIntyre could beat Cody Rhodes one-on-one and Cody drops the title, but they could do it. They could do it as early as SummerSlam. Drew McIntyre could win the Undisputed Championship from Cody Rhodes, a dominant heel that has destroyed and gutted through everybody on the roster. Everyone involved in the Bloodline takes the title from Cody Rhodes, and then you can tell the really cool story and quest of Roman, Cody, and others trying to take down Drew McIntyre. But if that doesn't happen, I think there's another interesting element to all of this that could really play out in 2025. I believe that we could end up seeing an alliance of some kind, a new faction of Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens' current rivalry with Cody Rhodes is a lot of fun and very interesting, and Kevin Owens' motivation for wanting to take down Cody Rhodes, it's very logical, it's very sound. Much like Drew McIntyre, there's a lot of parallels between their characters. Kevin Owens is overly frustrated and hates Cody for everything. Kevin Owens with Randy Orton helping Cody for a long time to take down the Bloodline, only for Cody to side with Roman at Bad Blood. Everyone helping Cody finish his story, including Kevin Owens. Cody gifting a title match to Kevin Owens, thus setting their rivalry into motion. But Drew and Kevin's motivation are very, very similar. And right now, they are only really separated by brand. And if Seth Rollins were to be the third man in this alliance, in this faction, Seth's motivation is also very similar and justified. Seth doing everything he did at WrestleMania 40, his long, detailed history with Roman Reigns. A rematch of Seth versus Roman could totally happen at any point. And a rematch between Cody and Seth could really work as well. We know Seth is going to be dealing with CM Punk for quite some time, but I think you could end up getting all 3 of these superstars lined up together with a common goal and a common enemy. It all boils back to the Bloodline, and you end up with 3 of the biggest names in WWE aligned as a heel group, and they could dominate across all the brands. Seth seems to be on that path right now where he is still a babyface, but you can tell he is getting more and more frustrated. He's had the confrontation with Drew McIntyre backstage. And for Kevin Owens, we know he's unhinged and he's got the Winged Eagle title. So in his mind, he's already champion. How will 2025 shape up for Drew McIntyre? Will it be his year where he finally dominates and gets the big victories and wins over everyone from his past? Drew tried to warn everybody about the Bloodline, about CM Punk. So it's possible that Drew McIntyre has been right all along.